Clinton Jaws. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Please subscribe. If you want, you could join my join button on YouTube. I got a join button. You hit join, you join it, you become a member of my YouTube channel. I do live streaming for members only. Blah, blah, blah. Check it out. This is a big deal. Okay? This is a big deal. This is different. This is different. It's about systemic racism in the RCMP and finding an example, and it looks like we just found one. A legit example. Because it's about a police officer complaining that the Halifax RCMP are racist. And when a police officer says it, there's substance to it. And I got to assume it's true. Because this guy isn't just a police officer. He's an upper. He's of senior management at the Halifax Regional Police Station. Okay? You got the RCMP Halifax, and you got Halifax Regional Police. He's complaining of racism. Halifax RCMP committed racism onto him. July 4th, 2021, he's driving down the road. He just wants to get some groceries. He's with his wife, who's a lawyer. These are good people, guys. And for absolutely no reason whatsoever, none, other than that he's black, because he's a black man, he gets pulled over by Halifax RCMP. I got a small clip. Listen to this.
Good evening once again. A longtime member of the Halifax Police Force who is black has filed a complaint against the RCMP. This after he says he and his wife were pulled over and officers drew their guns as they were on their way to get groceries. CTV.
Okay, that's really strange that she said they drew their guns, because the headline is, I'll show you what the headline is. From CTV, Black Halifax Regional Police officer wants answers after being pulled over by RCMP at gunpoint. Gunpoint. So what is it? Is it gunpoint, or were they at the low ready? I don't know. Well, I do know, but let's keep going.
Good evening once again. A longtime member of the Halifax Police Force who is black has filed a complaint against the RCMP. This after he says he and his wife were pulled over and officers drew their guns as they were on their way to get groceries. CTV's Sarah Plowman has those details tonight.
They were headed to get groceries. Superintendent Dean SIMMONDS and his wife Angela left North Preston and were driving down Main Street in Dartmouth. That's when they say RCMP pulled them over, ordered Dean out of the vehicle, as another officer pointed a carbine in his direction. Today, the couple filed an official complaint. In a statement, Superintendent SIMMONDS said, "I have been dedicated and committed to addressing the mistrust between the black community and police. I truly believe that my core values, leadership, and respect for my community, my job, and fellow officers would contribute to positive changes within community policing."
Absolutely.
His wife, Angela, is a lawyer and will be the Liberal candidate for Preston in the next provincial election. She said the interaction with RCMP police officers provides yet another example of the way black people continue to be subjected to inhumane treatment and regarded as dangerous, dishonest, guilty criminals.
Yeah. So there's not really any point digging more into this. A superintendent says that he was pulled over only because he was black. Well, they don't even say that. Did you notice that? Did you notice CTV doesn't say that part? This is where I got this part from, okay? I pulled an article, okay? And this is what the couple said. The reason why they were pulled over. Dean Simmonds, a 20-year veteran Halifax police, and Angela Simmonds, a lawyer who's acclaimed this week as a provincial Liberal candidate for Preston, say the incident of driving while black occurred as they were on their way to buy groceries in the community of Preston at about 12:30 p.m. on July 4th. They were a victim of driving while black. So there you have it. They're just driving down the street. They want to get some groceries. And they get pulled over because he's black. They just want to check him out, right? Racial profiling, I think that's what they call it nowadays. And is there really any point digging into this anymore? But because I used to be an RCMP cop, even though I believe that the superintendent, why you got to believe he's a superintendent, right? You got to believe what he says. His wife's a lawyer. You got to believe what she says. But because I used to be an RCMP cop, I thought I'd dig into it a little bit more. And, they're just trying to mind their own business that day. The beautiful community of North Preston, right? Coming from there, it even sounds beautiful. Even though I know Halifax RCMP are clearly racist, I thought I would Google North Preston. And this is what I found. Gunfire reported in North Preston on 3 straight days. Houses hit in each case. Oh my God. That doesn't sound good. Man acquitted in shooting the paralyzed woman faces new gun charges in North Preston. Man went to court for 28 charges. He was acquitted. A month he got out, he went to North Preston and shot at a house. Allegedly, okay? Allegedly. He was acquitted on 28 charges a month earlier. Ashley Curse was shot and left paralyzed from the chest down. January 27, 2021, in North Preston, a fella, young guy, 20 years old, Downey, shot and killed in North Preston. April 11, 2021, shooting on Downey Road in North Preston. May 21st, 2021, North Preston, residents shot at several times. All they do is talk about this NPF in North Preston. I thought, why is the RCMP union in North Preston? But it turns out it's some kind of gang. North Preston Funny Gang or something like that. Gang! There's gangs in North Preston, guys. RCMP say a North Preston home was shot at several times. Canada-wide warrant issued for Preston shooting suspect. 2 men dead at North Preston. Dartmouth man arrested on warrant for North Preston home invasion. You get the point. But I'm like, wow. There's a lot of crime that's going on in North Preston. It's not as beautiful as I thought it was. So I started thinking, okay, well, they were coming from sounds like a pretty seedy area. It doesn't sound all that good and fruitful in North Preston, if you know what I'm saying. We already know that the Halifax RCMP are racist, right? But it would kind of make sense to check vehicles. Why would they check his vehicle, though, at that time in that area? So I start thinking a little bit. I'm like, because I'm on his side, right? He's a superintendent. What he's saying has to be true, without a doubt. Without a doubt. He's held to a higher standard. He's not just going to say something if it's not true. So I started thinking, well, I have to rule everything out. When did this occur? It occurred as they were on their way to buy groceries in their community of Preston at about 12:30 p.m. on July 4th. And I'm like, okay, something did happen in North Preston. But what time did that happen? And gunfire reported in North Preston on 3 straight days, houses hit in each case. What do we got here? First incident happened at 2:30 in the morning, Saturday. And at noon on Sunday, police responded to another report of shots fired at a home, this time on Alex Lane. He gets pulled over on Main Street. Alex Lane is over here. Anyways, I Google mapped it. Here's Alex Lane, where the shooting occurred. And this is roughly where he was pulled over. Okay. They were going for groceries, maybe at the Gateway Meat Market or Dave's Fruit and Vegetable Market, who knows. And look at that. By bus, it's 37 minutes. So now I'm thinking, uh-oh. Maybe the RCMP are going to weasel out of this one, right? Maybe they're going to come up with a good excuse on why they pulled this fellow over for no reason, other than that he's black. They're going to say, hey, shooting was in Alex Lane. We see a vehicle. We're just checking all vehicles, right? We see a vehicle coming from North Preston area. And because we've saturated the area with cop cars because of the shooting, the high priority file, we're going to just randomly check vehicles. But I know what the superintendent's thinking. You're just checking me because of the color of my skin, right? That makes more sense. So I go to rcmp-grc.gc.ca/en, you know what I'm saying. I go here, and there's a news release. RCMP investigates reports of shots fired in North Preston. Really doesn't tell me any more information that I want to. I thought maybe they'd give me a detailed description of the suspect, maybe the vehicle. And I'm thinking, there has to be some sort of statement that the RCMP put out, right? Because this is a blockbuster. And I find it. I find the statement. Corporal, where are you? Corporal Lisa Croto, spokesperson for the RCMP, said in an email that the suspect vehicle fleeing the scene was reported to be a white SUV with an out-of-province license plate and tinted windows, which she said matched Simmonds' vehicle. Simmonds was driving, according to her, a white SUV with tinted windows. Now, the part that doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't really care, but it says that he had the way it's worded, it's possibly had an out-of-province license plate. I don't believe he did, because that's a violation. That's a ticket. If he did, they would have gave him a ticket. And there's no reason to believe that he got a ticket for that. You have a shooting about 15 minutes away. Police are in the neighborhood, checking vehicles. The suspect vehicle comes towards them. Match. It's a match, guys. It's a match of the description. He didn't get pulled over because of the color of his skin. If anything, it's driving while liberal. Maybe. He got pulled over because the Halifax RCMP were trying to solve a crime. They're investigating. They're trying to save the day. They want to make the community safer. That's why he got pulled over. And I guarantee they didn't point a gun at him, a carbine at him. It was probably at the low ready position. I'm just guessing. Pointed towards the ground. The Halifax RCMP are called racist for doing their job. That's what you do. Do you not want them to make the community safer? Simmonds knows this. He's a cop. He's got to know this. He's got to understand this. Maybe more will come out, and I'll be wrong. I could be possibly wrong. But what does common sense tell you? What does the bigger picture tell you? I was a cop for a lot of years. I know there's no systemic racism in policing, especially the RCMP. Common sense tells me that they were trying to catch a suspect, and he happened to match the description. Now, we don't know the description of the suspect's skin color. What would Simmonds, what would you want them to do? If they're looking for a puppy driving a vehicle, and a puppy drives by them, driving a vehicle, you don't want them to pull over that vehicle? How would you do it, Simmonds? I want to know. I want to know how you would do it. How would you investigate this file? How do you want the police to investigate something like this? Hey, Constable Upshaw, can you tell me the suspect vehicle description, please? Yeah, it's a white SUV. Oh, yeah, and it has tinted windows? Why do you ask? Well, a white SUV with tinted windows just drove by me. Why didn't you pull it over? Driver's black. I can't pull it over. You know how much shit I'm going to get into? That's how he wants you to police, guys. He has like 20 years service, and he wants you to police like that. Crime in North Preston is a joke. It's the cops' fault that crime is happening in North Preston. Street checks, right? They should be saturating North Preston, but that's racist. You want to get rid of crime? You saturate North Preston with police vehicles. You street check the living shit out of North Preston. That's how you solve crime in North Preston. That's how you eliminate crime in North Preston. But there's more. Angela Simmonds is quoted saying the case was an example of the way black people continue to be subjected to inhumane treatment. You want to know what inhumane treatment is? Telling two police officers that they're racist. That's what inhumane treatment is. You gotta know that. How do you think their lives are right now? A little just disrupted, probably? Because they're doing their job. You got a problem with them doing their job. Unbelievable. The release calls the incident another brutal reminder of the broader problem of systemic racism within the RCMP, and it further erodes the trust between police and Black communities in Nova Scotia. Erodes the trust between police and Black communities by pulling this fella over and checking him out. That erodes the trust. The criminals aren't eroding the trust in the communities in Nova Scotia, right? With all the shootings and the killings and the stabbings. It's the police that are doing it. It's the police that are at fault. That stuff doesn't erode the community. Trying to clean it up, that's eroding the trust between police and the Black community in Nova Scotia. What erodes trust is people like Simmonds. The leaders erode the trust. He could have went about this another way, but he didn't. You went out to the media, you put it out there. There's a good chance you're completely wrong. You're not helping the situation. You're making it worse. You're not telling the full truth. The media doesn't even tell the full truth. CTV didn't even bring up that she said driving while Black. Isn't that a little racist to say that? But these RCMP members are now under investigation, basically. Why isn't Simmonds getting a code of conduct? Why isn't he under investigation for coming out and saying something like this? With not fully understanding the facts. Do you know where he went to? He went to a committee, and the name is impossible to pronounce, but I'm going to show you.
The couple asked the director of the African Nova Scotian Decade for People of African Descent Coalition to bring the matter to the attention of the public.
Bring the matter to the attention of the public. This is what Simmonds did. And what's the name of it? This coalition or whatever they're calling it? It's like a Black Lives Matter committee type deal thing here. So he brings it to their attention.
The couple asked the director of the African Nova Scotian Decade for People of African Descent Coalition to bring the matter to the attention of the public.
Oh, what'd they
Vanessa
say?
Fell says the incident demonstrates a bigger issue with systemic racism with police.
Yeah.
You know, there are incidences of racial profiling and police brutality. And again, this is just another incident that has happened and traumatized to not only them, but the community.
It's traumatized the community, guys. The shootings aren't traumatizing the community of North Preston. The crime isn't. The murders aren't. It's the police that are traumatizing North Preston community. That's what she's saying. That's what Simmonds is saying. She's talking on behalf of the Superintendent of Halifax Regional Police Department.
And again, this is just another incident that has happened and traumatized to not only them, but the community. Because when incidences like this happen, it's not just them. Of course, they suffer, but the community thinks of their own suffering at the hands of RCMP.
The community of North Preston is suffering at the hands of RCMP. It's not the community itself that is committing the crime. No, it's not them. It's not the criminals within North Preston. It's the RCMP, the good guys, right? Not the criminals. The criminals, why is she talking about the crime in North Preston? If she really stands behind her committee, what is she doing about that? They don't talk about that, do they? No, they never talk about that. They talk about the police being racist.
So they want RCMP to change things.
They want RCMP to change things. Change what? That's what Simmonds wants too, right? If you see a matching vehicle description of the suspects, do not pull it over. That's what they want. You will not investigate crime. If it has...
RCMP has said that they are working on changing things, but this has been now for years and years.
Change what?
Fell says the couple intend to make a complaint to the Civilian Review and Complaints Commission.
Simmonds is going to go to the Civilian Review Complaints Committee. Have you seen those people? They're going to investigate for him. These guys are going to investigate for him.
Oh, sorry. Translation, because I'm not sure how to change to the French piece. So
That's the chair. That's the committee he's going to. That's how Simmonds handled this. Higher standard, right? Where's his code of conduct? Investigate his behavior. What makes you so special? What makes you so special that you can't get pulled? And really, I think about this and why did this really happen? Why did this really happen? Why is he so mad that the Halifax RCMP are just doing their job? Why is he so angry? Really, what is it? I think I know why. Because he's a superintendent. And you don't ever pull over a superintendent. He's special. He deserves special treatment. And if you pull him over and you have your gun out and you tell him to show me your hands, you think he's going to put up with that? He deserves a code of conduct. He's held to a higher standard. You're not special. You're treated like everybody else. And yeah, maybe it was traumatic. Too bad. You don't get to tell the RCMP how to investigate. You don't get to control them. You stay over there in the police department that you've destroyed and messed up. You stay over there. Don't spread your virus over to the Halifax RCMP, okay? I know how unhappy the Halifax Regional Police are. A lot of them have come to me. I've seen the evidence. I've seen the stats. I know how miserable they are. I know how bad the morale is over there. This is what I'm told. Might be true, might be wrong, might be inaccurate, but this is what I'm told, what's going on at the Halifax Regional Police Station. You guys had a survey in 2020 on how things are going over there. You guys were asked, is it a fun place to work at Halifax Regional Police Department? 14% of you said, yeah. 14%. I think the police station values my contributions. You know how many people agreed with that? 9%. Things are going great for you, Simmonds, over there with Chief Kins, isn't it? You guys are doing a great job, aren't you? You attack the Halifax RCMP? Now here's the kicker. You got to hear this one. Listen to this one. I have confidence in the job being done by senior management. Him, Simmonds. I have confidence in senior management, the job that they're doing, and the chief of police, Chief Kins. How many people agreed with that comment? 7%. That's what your police station thinks about you guys. 7%, guys. 7%. What does that tell you? Nobody does. That's nobody. That's nothing. That's not even a worthwhile percentage. I could go on and on and on. The police station cares about my well-being. 11%. Like, it is so low. I can't believe you guys are... What do you even say? What do you even say? Like, who are you, I guess? Who are you to complain about another police force when you can't even operate your own police force? And my heart goes out to those members, those Halifax police members. It really does. It must be, well, you're really making it tough on them, aren't you? Focus on your own shit. Fix your own shit. Because your police station is in shambles.
What's that?